So yeah, we talked about that a little bit. And then I went to a brief religion class, and I think, from what I can gather, because religion is a lot of it is a discussion based, which kind of sucks, honestly. But the teacher like handed out stuff, and we'll like read something and then discuss it and take notes and stuff. And I can't really take notes because it's so fast, and I kind of have to know what we're talking about to understand what I'm writing. So that's one class where I'm not really taking notes as much as other people. Mostly, she'll like talk. She'll be like, okay, read this, and then talk about it for like 3 classes. And it'll be something pretty long. So I'll spend like a class or two just trying to read what the rest of the class is talking about, so I at least get an idea of what we were doing. So that's what I did today, while I talked. As I read this thing, and I really think I would enjoy this class a lot if I could participate more. A lot of it is more like a philosophy. Um, it's not like a teaching of the Bible or something like that as a religion class. It's more like talking about. So far, we've been talking more about like morals and ethics and things like that. What do you think is right and wrong? And today in like last class, we were talking about love and different types of love. Um, and actually, we had the first reference that was actually made explicitly to religion. Like previously, we talked about something else, and it mentioned religion, but it was just like religion. They didn't actually say because God would want this. And this one was today was the first day where I actually read something that actually mentioned religion, and it was more about because it was talking about different types of love, and like the type of love that's like passion or longing, things like that. And then the type of love that's like I love you, I need you. And then there's and like the type of love that you have for your friends or for objects or something. And then there's to mention another type of love that's like difficult to describe. So I read it in French, and so now when I think of it, I'm thinking about it kind of in French. But and that's when it mentioned like love your enemies. Um, and it's like what a weird. And it was talking about how the other types of love they mentioned Greek words, and this is what the Greek philosophers had to say about it. But this one, it has a Greek word, but it's like it was way after these philosophers' times because basically it mentioned how some lonely Jew in a distant Roman camp came up with this idea that, or not really came up with this idea, but introduced this idea that you love your enemy like a friend and things like that. So you're talking about different types of love. But anyway, my whole point with this huge ramble is just speak my thoughts was that I really think it would be an interesting class if I could follow it. Because, we're talking about more philosophical ideas, and I would really love to take a class like that. And most of the time, actually, in the class, I'm thinking about either my aunt who's ordained, so some things that I think she would really enjoy reading or hearing, and or one of my friends who likes to discuss, likes to have more deep discussions like that. So anyway, then after that, 2 hours of art history in a row. It's not that art history is really horrible, but like it's difficult for me to follow. And then like a lot of it is like we turn off the lights and we turn on the projector and we're like looking at different pieces of art. I'm pretty sure today we were talking about how art changed, in like neoclassicism and stuff like that, but more for we talked a little bit about the teacher talked a little bit about the invention of the photograph, the camera, and how it started to kind of replace painting, because previously painting had been a way of taking a picture, basically, a way of representing an object, but now you can do that with a photograph. And so it kind of took place of the reason why people painted, and so again, it was kind of something a little bit deeper than just art history. It was like, because with the invention of the photograph, it totally changed painting. Because for one thing, you can paint from a photograph, you don't have to have people sit there like this for hours and hours and hours while you paint them. And obviously they're going to move a little bit, and it's going to mess up your reference slightly. But now you can just take, I think we compared, I'm not entirely sure, but I think we compared a couple of pieces, one that was probably done more recently, but in a neoclassical style. I think there's neoclassical, it might have been Romanticism. Because I'm pretty sure we talked about both today, and it was long, and it was all kind of the same thing. It kind of ran together in my mind. So, but one obviously, and then we looked at like a real neoclassical piece or whatever. And obviously one looks different than the other. They had different styles, even though the more modern one was done in the neoclassical style. But anyway, where I was going with, the invention of the photograph, changed the purpose of painting, because previously you would want people, if you wanted people to know what you looked like, you'd have to have people draw you or paint you, and that was pretty much the purpose of painting. And then you got the photograph came out, and it's like, well, now what? You can take pictures of things. You don't need to represent these ideas by using a canvas anymore. You don't need to get a picture of a person's face looking serious. So I think what my teacher was trying to say, this might just be how I was interpreting what I could understand, but I think we talked a little bit about how much that changed painting. Not so much for like later dates, but I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this. I guess I'm in a philosophical mood today. Because when you think about it, it really did change painting. Because from then on, you didn't need to paint portraits of people to get an idea of what they looked like. You could take a picture of them and get a much better idea. So why keep painting? It totally changed the purpose. Obviously before that, people painted for more reasons that they painted now as well. But now people paint, more as an art form and less like just to get ideas of what things look like, you just take a picture. And so painting is solely for enjoyment, or for one reason, or not just for getting an idea of what people look like, when previously a lot of the paintings were just for that. Not all of them, obviously there are things that were for different reasons. But I need to stop rambling. I started vlogging again, and just all my ideas come out of my head in a big jumble, and I guess anybody watching this is probably really bored. I really need somebody to talk to about these things. I need to talk to Misha. Misha, if you're watching this, you need to get a Skype. And I should probably stop there. Basically, after that, I came home and I started making vlog posts where I rambled about everything that went through my mind as it came through it, and it probably makes no sense to anybody else. But I guess this is what the vlog is supposed to be for, not so much for what I did, but for how I felt. I don't know. I'm gonna get philosophical about vlogging now. And then my video is gonna be too long, and I'm gonna have to break it up into multiple parts. Okay, I'm gonna stop now. I really wish that I had somebody that I could talk to and ramble about like this, because I guess I really want to talk about these kinds of things, but I don't really have anyone to talk to. Okay, I'll stop. I'll see you guys tomorrow.